Welcome back to Banking for Legacy podcast. I'm your host, Nelson Pizarro, and this is for families and business owners who want to take back control of their finances, build intentional wealth, and create a legacy that lasts for generations. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been listening for a while, we appreciate it. Make sure you like us or share it with another friend or family. Today's topic is super simple, but very powerful. It's the waiting game. And what do you mean by waiting? Well, if you graduate college or if you get out of high school and you're 18 or 22, 23, and hopefully you start getting a job, everybody tells you to put your head down. Just work harder. Max out your 401k if you have one, or put money into your IRA when you get older. Start funneling money into the IRAs as much as you can. Just because you can get that tax deduction today, and this magical compounding is always going to be going for the rest of your life when you do these IRAs and 401ks. But they're forgetting to mention one big step, which is you can't touch it until you're 59 and a half. And hopefully you can retire when you're 65. So you have 30 plus years to work, and then all of a sudden they're going to tell you, yes, you can touch it, and then you got another 5 years left that you can so-called retire. Well, that's a formula for many, many people. And for decades, Americans have followed it through their accounts like the 401ks, the IRAs, and the Roth IRAs. The problem isn't that these accounts are evil. The problem is the assumption behind them. And what is this assumption? Sometimes it's taxes will be lower in the future. But let's be honest. Right now, the top federal income tax bracket is around 37%. We also have over 34 trillion in national debt, which is the highest ever. Our Social Security is always under pressure. Medicare is always under pressure now. And there's always going to be ongoing government spending at historic levels. Do we honestly believe taxes will be lower in 25 to 30 years from now? Or is it more reasonable to expect they could rise? Now, let's run a realistic example. Let's say you contribute consistently and build $1.5 million in a 401k retirement. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the reality. If you withdrew $120,000 per year in retirement, taxes are roughly, if you're in the 25% bracket, it will be about $30,000 that you'll pay in taxes per year. If you're in the 30%, $36,000. And if you're in the 35%, you'll pay $42,000. And remember, every dollar coming out of that traditional 401k or IRA, it's taxable income, especially the capital gains. If rates rise even modestly, that 1.5 million account could lose between $375,000 to $525,000 in taxes over time. And that's assuming rates don't just spike. Everybody keeps on saying defer taxes. However, that's not really deferring. We're just postponing that bill. Now let's talk about something people don't calculate, the opportunity cost. Let's say instead of maxing out your 401k, you kept $5,000 this year and you take your family on vacation. You create all these amazing memories. You reconnect, you rest, you recharge, you invest in relationships. What's the worth of that? Can you really put a price tag on that? Now imagine doing that once per year for 5 years. That's $100,000 of experiences. But we're told, don't touch it. Delay gratification and wait. Here's a real question. Instead of locking all your capital away, what if we built assets that produce income? Here are 5 realistic options. 1. Rental real estate. A properly structured rental can cash flow you monthly and appreciate over time. 2. Small business or side business. Pressure washing, podcast production, online marketing agency, coaching, lawn care, e-commerce. A simple side system can realistically generate you 5 to 10,000 per year. 3. Private lending. Lend capital at a 6 to 10% secured by assets. 4. Dividend paying businesses or funds. Cash flow while maintaining ownership. 5. Digital assets like courses, memberships, systems that work even when you're not. You want a $5,000 family vacation. Instead of pulling from your savings, you built a side system that makes $500 per month. That's $6,000 per year, vacation paid for. System stays, income continues. That's financial control, not stuffing your money where you can't touch it. The biggest challenge with traditional savings: if you put money in a savings account earning, let's just say, 1 to 3%, inflation starts eating it away. If you invest and then withdraw, you interrupt that compounding interest. If you lock it in a 401k, you lose the control, flexibility, and timing. So, what's an alternative? Instead of locking money away for 30 years, or keeping it in a low yield savings, or losing compounding when you withdraw, you can explore the infinite banking concept, popularized by Nelson Nash in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. The idea is very, very simple. Build capital inside a properly structured whole life policy. Maintain uninterrupted compound growth. Borrow against it for opportunities like the vacations and investments, or even retirement. Repay the policy on a schedule, and you keep control. You don't have to wait 30 years to use your money. You don't have to hope tax rates cooperate. You don't have to sacrifice today for tomorrow. You create a system where your money works, your life continues, your legacy grows. Let me leave you with this. What if the biggest risk in your financial plan isn't the market, isn't the inflation, isn't even taxes? What if it's waiting? Waiting for retirement, waiting for permission, waiting for the right time. Because time is the one asset you cannot compound once it's gone. So here's a challenge. Stop building someone else's system. Start building your own. If you want to learn how to take control of your capital, comment legacy or send me a DM. I'll personally connect with you. I'm Nelson Pizarro. This is Banking for Legacy podcast. And remember, your money, your bank, and your legacy. Thank you.